Okay. About a month and a half, 2 months ago, I acquired my dad's old pickup truck. It's a Ford F-250 flatbed. It's been sitting probably since the drought. It's probably been sitting for 6 or 7 years. 5 or 6 years. And in that time it was sitting without a lot of fuel going through the lines, rusted up it has 2 fuel tanks, but destroyed this fuel sending units and all that. So all that stuff had to be replaced. So we had poured some fuel into it trying to get it started before we figured all this out. So now we have these rusty old fuel tanks with 5 or 6 gallons in each tank of fresh gas, and we got to pull all that stuff out of there. We've done it already, but that was the task. We got to get the fuel out of these things. So I've siphoned. I've done stuff like this before. It's always been a poor experience. But I remembered that Harbor Freight sold this thing. Let me get the title in there so you can see the title real good. Pittsburgh Multi-Use Transfer Pump. Okay. Now I've bought things like this before, and they always just crapped out in a few minutes. And, here's one out of the container. I'm going to show you. I made a video for this when I was doing it, but shadow and some other issues happened. It didn't work out, but this is basically what it comes with. There's some other smaller things here, like use it for an air pump, like you blow up a football or something. But to me, I have no use for that. So this is basically. There we go. That's the idea. You're going to pump it this way. But I think these are 51 inches long. This is the tubing here. Okay. Oops. I smell the gas already. 51 inches long. And when you get them, let me show you this right here. God, I smell the gas. I shouldn't have brought this in here. Anyhow, that's the pump. You simply slide this in here. You get this little ferrule that goes over the top. Same thing here. Little ferrule against. Okay. You'll put the inside. This goes into the fuel you're trying to remove. This goes into the tank. This goes into the fuel can or whatever. You can do this for your aquarium, for water, for whatever the case is. And you're not going to. It's not like a real fast thing. It's nice and easy. You get moving like this. 'Cause I was afraid I was going to break it. It's actually very sturdy. But you wanted to kind of not overdo it because there's basically a rubber fitting, rubber wash inside here. And you could overwhelm this thing. So just a nice, steady, you might prime it a bit, get some water in there, get it started. I must have did several tanks. Instead of, I thought, if I get 1 or 2 jobs out of it, that'll be great. I've probably used this thing 6 or 7 times, probably moved 100 gallons of fluid through it. And still works like a charm. I was very impressed with this thing. I think I paid $8 for it. So what I did is I went back and bought one for each car. Okay, this stays in my trunk. Now let's say if you ran out of gas one day and you're parked next to your other car, and you need to get the fuel out of that, this thing will get it done. This thing will flat get it done. So. Like I said, I've bought many things like this before. They're always garbage. This is the first time I ever bought one where this thing actually worked. And it works fairly fast. I mean, you can move a pretty good volume. It's not going to take you all day. You can get a couple gallons through this thing pretty quick. But like I said, Harbor Freight, it must have been about $8. Like I said, there's a couple other little gizmos in there for if you want to use it for air, but that was pretty cheesy. But this was a great investment. I said, put one of these in your trunk, and you run out of gas or you need to transfer something. This is the way to go. You can't beat this thing. Here's another picture of it. And Harbor Freight sells these all day. That's the Pittsburgh Multi-Use Transfer Pump. Can't say enough good things about it. Love you. God bless.